Well, I'm back to filming. Of course, as soon as I shut the camera off a while ago, well, Tracy catches another crappie, so I guess that's the only time we can get a bite. I made him get in here and get lined up on his stuff. Maybe he'll catch another one. The screens on these things lack something to be desired because you can't see nothing on them. Especially if you get the sun directly on it. Can you just not catch a fish in front of the camera? I've never seen the like. Or is it you gotta have competition? As soon as I get a lure in the water, then you catch one?
I don't know. You thought I'd got another red too back there.
I don't know if I can focus in on. Yeah, there, Tracy's got another one. There he is.
Right out in the middle of a big old brush pile where you'd hung up every cast from something else.
Yep. Right through the top of the head again. That's something that regular crappie jigs won't do. You hook them over in the side of the mouth and the edge of the skin. There's another keeper. As old Jerry Reed used to say when he's fishing with Bill Dance, he said, "Put him in the wet well, Bill." So anyway, I finally got old Lucky Pierre there to get one on camera, so let's see if he can get us another one. And about one more, and then I'm about done with this camera stuff. I'm going to have to do some fishing whether I got bad wrist or not. I'll hook him one-handed and give Tracy the rod. He can reel them in. Oh, I bet he'll get another in here in a second. One of those crappie caught before we turned the camera on. It was a whopper. It's probably a 13.5-inch crappie. Don't mind the camera being all out of kilter here. I'm trying to get where I can see the screen on this thing. See if I could focus in on some of that stuff that we're fishing out there. Uh-oh, he's hooked another one. Ooh, this sounds like a good one. Yep. There's another one.
Top of the head.
Yeah, let's scoot up here and let me find you. Oh, there you are. Yep. Right on top of the head again. So every time, it's cam head technology.
20 cast into a great big brush pile that you couldn't fish with another jig without hanging up.
Well, while I got you on film, Tracy, let's talk about the new jig a little bit. Since you've you've had the privilege of fishing with them for several years, and tell a little bit about them. I guess you used to fish with the traditional center-based weed guard jig like everybody else.
There's no comparison. Basically, we call them others a 50-50 jig.
Well, I have to get up here where I can hear you. You're gonna have to talk up too.
Basically, over the years, we call all those other jigs a 50-50 jig because half of your fish come off, or half the time you're stuck in 3-tine jigs. These other jigs are just
And then
phenomenal.
Tracy's got another one, folks. There he is. And hooked right in the top of the head again, if you'll hold it still. See right there, hooked right through the very top of the head and the tough part of the mouth. You're not going to lose that crappie. So anyway, as you were saying, you know, you were like me when you caught fish on traditional jig.
It's always,
They were hooked anywhere in the mouth, out in the edge of the skin and in the corner, and that's just actually how close you came to not even hooking the fish.
yeah, when you're fishing in tournaments, fishing for money, every time you hook a good one, it's just, you're just scared as hell trying to get the thing in without losing him. These other jigs, you stick them, you don't have to worry about the losing part. They're coming to the boat, and that's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big difference because they're stuck in the roof of the mouth and not going to tear off, and most of the time it's very difficult to even pull the hook out of them, isn't it?
Have pretty strong hands or a pair of pliers to unhook the things.
Yep. And then, so what's the advantages about this with it being way more weedless? Besides the hooking part.
You're just always fishing instead of hung up all the time.
Yeah. So you're not running your prime spot though in there and you're hung up, scare the bass off.
Yep.
Either trying to get your lure loose or break it off.
Which is the same with this crappie stuff. Instead of being able to go up there and maybe catch one off the outside or two and then break your jig off and scare all the fish, you can just sit there and...
I don't know if we can get over here and I can focus in the water, because I can't see this screen very well, and show what we're fishing in.
This is basically just a bunch of logs and trash just piled on top of each other down in the water, and it's your jig is constantly in wood there.
I know a long time ago when I first made these, one of my fishing buddies, Clyde Moss, we were over at Grand Lake, and we decided we'd crappie fish a while, and anyway, we were fishing this mess of stuff. It was just unbelievable, but we just caught crappie after crappie out of there, and we got done, and Clyde said, well, he said, I want to show you how good your jigs are. So he reached underneath his box and got a standard crappie jig out. And on 10 straight casts, he was hung up 10 straight times and had to break his jig off. And he said, now, that's how good those jigs are, is because we wouldn't have caught hardly any crappie at all because you can't fish what we were fishing.
No, and this is...
And we were catching the crappie right down in the middle of the stuff, just like Tracy is right now. He's fishing, you can't see it underneath the water, but there's a whole gob of laydowns and stuff, and he's just dragging that jig over that stuff, just crawling it through there. And if you were trying to do that with a regular crappie jig, you'd be hung up and you wouldn't get any of these crappie. So anyway, this is New Tech Lures, and we'll see if we can catch a few more crappie, and then we're going to try to do a little bit of bass fishing with the Pro Series jig that we got in.